Imagine a wooden platform, stark against a somber sky. A lone figure stands upon it, the noose a chilling presence against their silhouette. The crowd below, a sea of faces, holds its breath. This was the grim reality of execution by hanging, a practice that haunted civilizations for centuries. The long drop, developed in the 1850s, aimed for a clean break in the spinal cord, resulting in instant unconsciousness and swift death. It reflected society's grappling with justice, punishment, and the act of taking a life. This evolution reveals a society seeking to mask the brutality of taking a life with a veneer of efficiency. But could death ever be truly humane? The long drop often failed to deliver its promise of a painless end. The execution process was a meticulously choreographed dance of death. The condemned, often bound and hooded, would be led up the steps to the gallows. A noose, carefully knotted and tested for strength, awaited them. The executioner, a figure both feared and reviled, would secure the rope around the condemned's neck. The platform beneath their feet, a trapdoor held taut by a single lever, stood between life and the abyss. With a sharp tug of the lever, the trapdoor would swing open, sending the condemned plummeting downwards. If executed correctly, the sudden stop at the end of the rope would snap the neck, severing the spinal cord and causing immediate death. The body, often twitching reflexively, would hang limp, a stark testament to the finality of the act. The science behind the long drop was morbidly fascinating yet unsettlingly imprecise. The executioner, tasked with this macabre calculation, held a position both feared and despised. Hanging, in its various forms, has a long and brutal history. From ancient times, it served as a grim spectacle of punishment, often public and always brutal. The methods, often crude and agonizing, evolved over centuries, reflecting changing societal views on punishment and the act of taking a life. The long drop emerged from this grim evolution, a product of its time. Before the long drop, the short drop method prevailed. This involved placing the condemned on a ladder, stool, or even the back of a cart, with the noose already around their neck. The object supporting them would then be kicked away, leaving them to dangle and slowly suffocate. The 18th century, however, saw a shift in thinking. Enlightenment ideals emphasized reason, order, and a more humane approach to justice. The search began for a method that was swift, efficient, and less agonizing for the condemned. The long drop, despite its claims of humanity, was employed for a range of crimes, from murder to petty theft. The severity of punishment often reflected the social anxieties and economic realities of the time. Public executions, often held near the scene of the crime, served as stark reminders of the consequences of transgression. They were not merely about punishment, but about reinforcing social order and deterring potential criminals. The crowd, a mix of morbid curiosity seekers and those seeking a sense of justice, played a complex role in this macabre theater. However, the long drop was not reserved for hardened criminals alone. Debtors, those trapped in the unforgiving cycle of poverty, often found themselves facing the noose for relatively minor offenses. The long drop therefore becomes a symbol of the complex interplay between justice, vengeance, and social control. Public executions, a gruesome spectacle that drew crowds from far and wide, were an integral part of life for centuries. They offered a morbid form of entertainment, a chance to witness the ultimate punishment meted out by the state. Yet, beneath the spectacle lay the human cost, the private pain of those condemned and the families they left behind. For the condemned, the walk to the gallows was a journey into the abyss. The weight of their impending doom, the public nature of their humiliation, and the finality of their fate created a maelstrom of emotions. Families of the condemned, often ostracized and shamed, bore their own private burdens. The public execution, despite its spectacle, was a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the finality of death. The long drop, despite its inherent brutality, emerged from a desire for a more humane form of execution. Compared to earlier, more agonizing methods, it represented a shift in thinking, an acknowledgement, however flawed, of the need to minimize suffering even in the act of taking a life. The proponents of the long drop, driven by a mix of scientific curiosity and a desire to reduce suffering, saw it as a necessary evil, a more civilized way of carrying out the death penalty. They meticulously calculated drop lengths, studied the anatomy of the human neck, all in pursuit of a swift, painless death. However, the very notion of a humane execution is fraught with contradictions. The act of taking a life, regardless of method, remains inherently brutal. The quest for a humane execution reveals a society grappling with its conscience, seeking to reconcile its need for retribution with its evolving sense of humanity. The long drop, despite its flaws, marked a turning point in the history of execution. It sparked a debate about the ethics of capital punishment and the importance of minimizing suffering, even in the face of death. This debate, fueled by advancements in science and evolving societal values, continues to shape our understanding of justice and punishment. The 19th century saw a surge in scientific inquiry, including the study of anatomy and physiology. The long drop, with its emphasis on precise calculations, was a direct result of this scientific approach to execution. The debate over the long drop, however, extended beyond the realm of science. Religious leaders, philosophers, and social reformers grappled with the moral implications of capital punishment. These ethical dilemmas fueled passionate arguments for and against the death penalty, a debate that continues to resonate today. Public executions, once a gruesome spectacle that drew massive crowds, began to lose their appeal as the 19th century wore on. The very sight of the gallows, a stark reminder of mortality and the finality of justice, began to evoke unease rather than righteous satisfaction. This shift in public sentiment, fueled by growing concerns about the brutality of the long drop and the ethics of capital punishment, paved the way for a more nuanced understanding of justice. Botched executions resulting in gruesome scenes of prolonged suffering shocked even the most hardened spectators. Newspaper accounts, often graphic in their detail, brought the horrors of the gallows into the homes of everyday citizens, fueling growing discomfort with the spectacle of public execution. This growing unease was further amplified by the voices of reformers who questioned the morality of capital punishment and the social consequences of public executions. Their arguments, gaining traction amidst the changing social landscape, challenged the very foundation of the death penalty. The shift in public sentiment regarding the long drop and public executions marked a turning point in the evolution of justice. The 20th century witnessed a gradual decline in the use of the long drop and the death penalty in general. Many countries abolished capital punishment altogether, citing its inherent cruelty, the risk of wrongful convictions, and the lack of proven deterrent effects. Those that retained the death penalty largely abandoned hanging in favor of methods perceived as more humane, such as lethal injection. The long drop, however, did not disappear entirely. Its specter lingered in the public imagination, kept alive by historical accounts, fictional portrayals, and the ongoing debates surrounding capital punishment. The image of the gallows, the noose swaying gently in the wind, continued to evoke a primal fear, a visceral reminder of the ultimate punishment. The echoes of the long drop resonate even today, prompting reflection on the evolution of justice and the enduring questions surrounding the death penalty. Its history serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of state-sanctioned killing and the importance of safeguarding human rights. The long drop, a symbol of both punishment and societal anxieties, offers valuable lessons for the modern world. Its history, though often grim, underscores the importance of constantly re-evaluating our approach to justice, ensuring that it aligns with our evolving values and understanding of human rights. One key lesson from the era of the long drop is the danger of allowing punishment to become a form of entertainment. Public executions, with their crowds and carnival-like atmosphere, desensitized people to violence and fostered a culture of vengeance. The shift towards more private executions, while not eliminating the ethical dilemmas of capital punishment, at least acknowledged the need to separate punishment from spectacle. Furthermore, the long drop's history highlights the importance of proportionality in punishment. The fact that debtors and petty thieves face the same fate as murderers raises serious concerns about the fairness and effectiveness of such a system. The long drop's legacy serves as a stark reminder that justice must be tempered with compassion and grounded in a deep respect for human dignity. The long drop, though relegated to the annals of history, continues to cast a long shadow over our collective consciousness. Its legacy extends beyond criminal justice, influencing literature, art, and popular culture, serving as a reminder of humanity's capacity for both cruelty and compassion. Literary giants from Charles Dickens to George Orwell grappled with the moral complexities of capital punishment, often using the imagery of the gallows to evoke a sense of dread and injustice. The visual arts, too, have grappled with its legacy. Paintings, prints, and sculptures depicting executions serve as visual reminders of the brutality of this method of punishment. These works, far from glorifying violence, often aim to provoke reflection, forcing viewers to confront the darker aspects of human history and the enduring debate surrounding capital punishment. The long drop, though a relic of the past, continues to resonate in the present, reminding us of the enduring power of this symbol of punishment. Its presence in various forms of human expression serves as a testament to its enduring legacy, prompting reflection on the evolution of justice, the complexities of human nature, and the ongoing debate surrounding the ethics of capital punishment.